Good morning, Mayor. How you doing?
Good morning, Bobby. How you doing?
Doing good, man. It sounds like you up and ready to go.
Hey, Bobby.
Yo.
Man, I'm in my office, man, signing documents. Man, I thank God for another day. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Well, all right. So Joseph Lee gives you this resignation after this criticism that he's been getting hit left and right with some negative, positive criticism. He resigns, gives you this letter, and then your thought pattern is what after that?
Let me say this first of all, Bobby, that the current climate is not about Joseph Lee.
Okay.
The target is Willie Herenton. What some of the business leaders, some political aspirants, as well as the media, what they really want to do is to create a climate such that I would not run for re-election, but I am running for re-election. They want to create a very negative climate. Joseph Lee has done an outstanding job as president of MLGW. He has admitted, and I have also acknowledged, that by giving special treatment to Councilman Ford, that was not the right thing to do. In fact, no individual should receive preferential treatment. No individual. Joseph has acknowledged that. But to remove him or to accept his resignation on that infraction, to me, would be an injustice. So the real issue is, how do you remove Willie Herenton from the position of leadership? What they want to do is to attack people around me because they have not been able to dismantle the leadership organization that the citizens of Memphis have given us for the last 15 years. And let me just say this, Bobby. Someone just called me and said in the editorial that they called me obstinate. Now, let me translate that for your audience.
Okay.
What that really means when they say Willie Herenton is obstinate, they want a boy in the office of the mayor. And I've made it very clear that there's a man up in here. Ain't no boy here.
Right.
Now, they're looking for a boy. That's why they selected Herman Morris. And if they get him, they got a boy. But right now, there's a man in the office of the mayor, and his name is Willie Herenton, okay? And I'm running for re-election. And this thing about Joseph Lee is one of the finest human beings I've ever met. It was a travesty to take him over in this grand jury to batter this young man for hours over nothing.
Is he going to be able to take...
Let me just say this. He's not a criminal.
Right.
And let me also say this. Unfortunately, Bobby, there are some elected officials that are criminals.
Okay.
And they ought to be arrested, prosecuted, and they ought to go to jail.
Right.
But there are elected officials of color who serve with dignity and who do not accept handouts. But so what is involved in here now is not Joseph Lee. They want to attack anybody that Willie Herenton has appointed. Joseph did wrong as far as Ford is concerned. Now focus on getting at some critical issues. And let me tell you one, Bob, and I'm going to talk about it next week. I am very concerned that Joseph Lee is being sabotaged internally. We cannot explain these high utility bills. It makes no sense. The temperatures have not been that alarmingly low to justify the high utility bills that Memphians are receiving. Something is wrong at MLGW, and we're going to get at the bottom of their billing practices. We're going to get at the bottom of their meter reading practices, because I think Joseph is surrounded by people that he can't trust.
Whoa!
And that, yes. So I know this is profound, what I'm saying to you.
Right.
I think there's something going on wrong at MLGW with regard to the billing system and the meter reading.
I think
it makes no sense.
Right.
So that's the issue we need to get at. Joseph Lee is a good executive. And let me just say this, Bobby. This young man did not want to continue in this climate of distrust. I said to Joseph, it would be a miscarriage of justice for you to sacrifice your career because of the commercial appeal and some of these hypocritical politicians, who many of them are crooked, but depending on the color of the skin, depending on the class group that they're in, they can recuse themselves, and this justice system looks the other way. What we're going to call for next week is equal treatment under the law. I believe that the American system ought to treat everybody fair, and what you're seeing here now is not fairness, is not equal treatment, and Joseph Lee is a victim, and he apologized for the Ford situation. We need to move on, make this utility system fair, make sure that the billing system is accurate, and I support Joseph Lee.
Now, I heard somewhere that you were going to ask for some money to help the underprivileged with their bills.
Yes. Let me tell you this, Bobby. My mother's utility. My mother lives in a small house. Mm-hmm. A $200 and some utility bill, when my mom's bill has traditionally been less than $80. I paid my bill on yesterday, Bobby. Mm-hmm. It's $800 and something dollars. Okay,
wow.
So I want to let you know my bill has virtually tripled.
Okay,
and there has not been a frigid rate of temperature to justify the billing. Something is going on wrong at MLGW. We need to be more conscious of that than we are a so-called scandal. This thing with Ford is regrettable. Joseph has addressed that. They're going to dismantle that third-party program other than for people that really need help. Now, what I want the council to do, I want them to do something positive. I don't want them to go on a witch hunt at Joseph Lee. Help me to help people pay their utility bills who deserve help, not those with special treatment. I'm talking about some poor people, some senior citizens that deserve and need help with their utilities. So I'm asking for about a $5 million supplement to help us with that endeavor.
I think it's a great idea. My co-host Asia would like to ask you a question, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
Yes. Hey, Asia, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Just out of curiosity, so when you state that there, the practices that have gone on with the high bills and everything else, are you talking about perhaps meter readers and so forth that have gone through? I mean, because there have been a lot of statements that have been out there stating that some of the meter readers that are out here, they're not exactly reading. They're just passing through and just looking at the sizes of the house or so forth, not even really going through the neighborhoods. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, let me say this. I think that MLGW, in terms of public trust, the public trust to me about Joseph Lee, that's a lot of political and media hogwash. The integrity and the trust level we need to restore is in the billing system. Okay. That's what's hurting people, Asia.
I agree.
People are hurting, and that's why so many people are angry about anything. A lot of people are having hard economic times. They got to trade off getting their medicine, buying food, versus paying their utilities. So people are mad.
Right.
They're frustrated, and I believe that there are some things at MLGW with regard to accuracy of meter readings and the billing system. That's what I want to look at, and not fool around with all this nonsense with attacking Joseph Lee. Let's make the billing system, the meter reading system, more accurate. Let's help people who really need help with their utilities, and let's move forward on a positive direction.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you, Mr. Mayor, if you pull this off, you'll be mayor for life.
Well, Bobby, I tell you this, man. I just want to let everybody know that this political climate here is really treacherous. In the coming months in an election year, you're going to see the media and some of the political establishment try to do a lot of things. So it's going to be an interesting political climate. But I want the world to know there's a man up in here in City Hall. If they're looking for a boy, they identified one in Herman Morris, but he ain't going to enter this gate.
Thank you, Mayor Herenton. We appreciate it. All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That's a Taurus for you.
Whoa!